right? The backup admin, the visualization admin, the IT ops admin, and the Kubernetes admin, so they can accomplish the task independent of each other. So let me give you an example, right? How we are doing this is that, for example, the backup administrator, they could use the powerful PowerProtect user interface, and they could discover the Kubernetes clusters, and define a policy to explicitly protect any namespaces, or they could leave it out as a more abstract manner, so in which they could create a dynamic filter to basically create to basically protect any namespace that meets a certain criteria, such as any namespace that has a label equal to silver, for example. And from a Kubernetes admin perspective, all that he or she needs to do then is to add this label to the namespaces that they are looking to protect. So then the PowerProtect data manager would then, on the back end, it'll automatically query the Kubernetes cluster based on a predefined schedule to identify the namespaces that needs to be protected, and it'll continue to protect these persistent volumes, which is the actual critical data in these namespaces, and do all this without requiring any action from either the Kubernetes user or the backup administrator. So also the recovery is can be accomplished directly from the Kubernetes console. So the kube admin could query the various copies of backup and recover these to the same namespace, or you could recover this to a totally different namespace. So as you can see, there's a very minimal learning curve for both teams because they can work independently, and there is no need to have just another tool just to protect Kubernetes environments. And they are just using the tools that they are totally familiar with and restricting to their domains. And finally, the PowerProtect solution leverages VMware Velero, which focuses on data protection and migration for Kubernetes workloads. And this project was originally Heptio, which is a company, and it was founded by Joe Beda, who is one of the original founders of Kubernetes. By using the Kubernetes APIs, we are allowing flexibility in which clusters can be protected. It's possible to add additional capabilities such as Grafana, Prometheus, Istio, Helm to augment capabilities and automate the solution. So we are continuing to innovate in the space, and we have a very close partnership with VMware and their efforts on Kubernetes. And then we are working on additional deployments such as PKS, which is part of the Pivotal Cloud Foundry's version of Kubernetes distribution. We're working on protecting OpenShift, GCP, which is part of the Google's version of Kubernetes, is Anthos and GKE. And many more planned in the future, such as the AWS and OpenStack version. So there is a lot of exciting things going on within the team, and so really excited about the bright future ahead of us.
Awesome. I was going to ask you if there was anything else you'd like to add, but I think you just summed it up really nicely. Our next event, where I believe you're going to see Rob, myself, Nivas, is probably going to be Dell Technology World in May. So we'll have a few months of a lot of activities happening. This is not the last podcast where we'll be talking about this subject. We'll go a little bit deeper and probably sideways a few times before that event in May. Rob, is there anything you'd like to say before we head out?
Yeah, thanks, Jen. Just a couple of things that I'd like to sum up from Nivas's talk track today is that, Kubernetes are everywhere. They are in that cup of coffee that we get as we wait or order ahead. It's in, some of the gaming that our kids are playing, and it's in some of those enterprise applications that we are selling into. Kubernetes are definitely here to stay. And I guess what the key takeaway for today is the PowerProtect Data Manager's key ability to protect those Kubernetes environments. And so in order to protect, customer transactions, in order to create IT transformation at the enterprise level, that's really where we come into play with Kubernetes.
That's perfect, Rob. And thank you, Nivas, for being here. Join us in the next podcast to learn more about the future of data protection.